The morning my son threw me out of my own house, I realized that love alone can't fix betrayal. My name is Robert Langley, 68 years old, a retired bank manager from Manchester. I spent 40 years working in the same bank, saving every penny for my family, especially my only son, Ethan. After my wife passed away, Ethan became my whole world. I sold our old cottage and used the money to buy a larger, modern house for him and his wife, Clara. I wanted them to live comfortably, to have the life I never had. The house was bought in my name, but I never mentioned it. I just told Ethan, "This is your home now, son." For years, everything was peaceful. Ethan was a kind boy, or at least I thought so. But after he married Clara, things started to change. She was charming on the surface, but her words were sharp as glass. I could see the discomfort in her eyes every time I joined them for dinner. One evening, while I was reading in the living room, I overheard her whisper to Ethan, "Your father's always here." "He's old, stubborn, and it's our house now, isn't it?" Ethan didn't respond, but his silence was enough. A month later, it happened. I was sitting at the breakfast table when Ethan walked in, avoiding eye contact. His voice trembled slightly as he said, "Dad, Clara and we need our privacy. You've lived a full life. It's time you got your own place, please. Leave the keys to the house and go." At first I laughed. I thought he was joking. But when I saw the cold expression on Clara's face behind him, I realized it wasn't a joke. It was a command. He didn't even help me pack. I took my suitcase, my late wife's photo, and my dignity, and left without a word. For a week, I stayed in a cheap motel on the edge of town. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I kept replaying his words in my head. "Leave the keys. And go away." That sentence broke something inside me. But then, one morning, while looking through my old files, I noticed something. The deed of the house. The ownership papers, still under my name. I hadn't transferred it. I'd forgotten to. And suddenly, I knew exactly what I had to do. I went to the bank, the same one I'd worked at for decades. The new manager, an old colleague of mine, recognized me instantly. When I showed him the property documents, he smiled. "Robert, you're still the legal owner. If they've taken any loans or mortgages against this property, it's in violation of bank policy." He ran a quick check, and there it was. Ethan and Clara had used the house as collateral for a personal loan, a loan they were behind on. Since I was the registered owner, the bank immediately flagged it as fraud and initiated repossession proceedings. I didn't have to lift a finger, the bank did everything legally. Within a week, Ethan received a notice. Property will be repossessed due to fraudulent mortgage activity. Ethan called me, panicked and desperate. "Dad, they're saying we'll lose the house. Please, you have to fix this." I answered calmly, "Son, the bank recognized me as the rightful owner. I'll decide what happens to the house." For the first time, he was speechless. A month later, I moved back into the house. Clara had already left him. She couldn't stand the humiliation. Ethan came to see me once more, tears in his eyes. "Dad, I'm sorry. I made a terrible mistake." I looked at him for a long time before replying, "You didn't just lose a house, Ethan. You lost your father's trust. And that's something no bank can ever return." I handed him a small envelope, the deed of a small apartment I had secretly purchased years ago for emergencies. "You can stay there. Start over, learn the value of family again." He took it silently, ashamed, and left. Now every morning when I drink my tea by the window, I look at the garden my wife once tended and smile faintly. Because in the end, karma doesn't need a weapon, just patience. And when my own son told me to leave, fate made sure he learned that lesson the hard way. Moral: never betray the hand that built your home. Love can forgive mistakes, but not deceit.